Hey there hunters, Lord here, back with a Call of the Wild video. I haven't done one of these in a long time, but this is one of my favorite games of all time, and since my last video did so well, I figured I'd go ahead and make another one for the release of the Emerald Coast here in Australia. I wanted to cover some tips, tricks, my personal loadout, as well as a few hotspots that I've found to bring me some success, especially for the new species on this map. Things started off with a very easy tip. If you have just started and you're looking to find all the outposts at any given outpost so far that I've been to, there are these maps right here that you could easily just take a screenshot of. It shows you locations of where lookout towers are, which are already on the map, to be fair, as well as campsites, which are just smaller versions of outposts with like RVs, and then some of the outposts. So this is a really good way to kind of get a start, get your bearings for where you want to head, what you want to do, and where each outpost is, and how you can run into them. And that brings me nicely on to my next point, which is, as you can see, I've already made it up here. I also checked out this lookout tower. But because I know that there is another cabin up here, I'm going to go ahead and place a waypoint due to the map that we just looked at. I would recommend one of the best things you could do for helping you to find species early before you're getting a ton of need zones is to just head in between points on foot. Now you could definitely grab an ATV and drive all this way much quicker, but I find that you're going to be grabbing tracks and seeing much more animals if you just kind of run along these areas. That's kind of what I've been doing all the way. You can see I'm just running in between each of these points, and it's helped me find quite a few zones kind of all over the place. And so I would definitely recommend just getting on foot and getting around to each point in the map, especially right when you start out. This will really help you kind of locate species and figure out which species are in which parts of the map. And as you can see, it's already paid off. I've literally moved about this far. I stopped recording because I just didn't think I'd see too much on the way up. But as you can see, we have already found some fallow deer in their eating zone. So this is definitely a great way to kind of scope out species and a great way to find need zones very early in the game and to find out who is where on this new map. Go ahead and pop this guy for respawns because he looks terrible. And there we go. Very nicely done. 7mm is no joke, and while we're headed up to this guy, I think this gives us a good point to talk about my current loadout. Now, what I'm currently running, I am using a backpack as I am running tents and tripods working to set up. However, for weapons, I'm running the 300 canning, so for Bantang as well as saltwater crocodiles. Then the 7mm I'm running in case when I drop the backpack I don't have room for the 300. I'll still be able to get classes 4 to 9 with this guy. The 22, of course, is just a classic for, small game and flying species. Then I'm running the 22-250. I know it's not exactly the most popular option as far as class like 2 to 3 animals go, but it's a new weapon, and so I think it's really worth running. And this has still given me enough room to run 3 lures, my consumables, as well as 2 sets of portable structures. So you should be pretty good. If you're not going to do any setup, you can drop these and you won't have to worry about a backpack. You may have to drop the 300, but I doubt it. However, there are just tons of weapon options in the game nowadays for everything. You could bring the 308 instead of the 7mm. There's just a ton of options. As long as, you've got all your classes covered. We've got 1 here, 2 to 4 here, 4 to 9 here, and 7 to 9 if I really want to take down some bigger game. And the next tip that I want to bring up, and this may be common sense to anyone who's been playing Call of the Wild for a while, but anytime you discover a new outpost, I highly recommend just kind of running to the nearest body of water. That will help you kind of find some good areas to hunt in. As you can see from here, I went all the way up this coast just slaughtering crocodiles and geese. From here, went down, got some good hog deer zones, and as we're exploring this one, we've already got some red deer out here drinking ahead of us. And this is going to be just another really good way for you to find animals early on in the game. Alright guys, so getting into 2 of our new species, which are Bantang as well as saltwater crocodiles. I like to spawn at this southeasternmost outpost right here, and just kind of head to the northeast and work my way up this coastline. Now this is heavy mangrove forest, which does make spotting crocs pretty difficult. However, they're really loud. I think we just got a Bantang. Fox yelling at us. However, they're really loud, and the thick roots does get them stuck sometimes when they try to flee or go aggressive. So I like to just kind of pound brush through here, and whatever I spook up, I'll try to get a broadside shot at as they run away. That's the best. However, coming up to kind of the Bantang areas, I do like to just kind of sneak in here first. So I'll catch up with you guys when we come up on something. Alright, so we have not moved too much further, and I've already spotted a nice large herd of Bantang, including a beautiful level 4 right here. So we're going to go ahead and try and take him, and this is why I bring the 300, is for these guys and the Crocs especially. These guys, oh, he's going aggressive. Alright, these guys are pretty tanky, but they're also pretty slow, so even if they do kind of run off on you, if you're able to get in close, you shouldn't really have too much of a problem getting another shot into them while they're running away. He's going down pretty quick. Again, that's why I bring the 300. You don't need to, and that's why I have the 7mm, but I definitely, for these guys and for the Crocs, I think it's way more worth it to have the 300, especially since it doesn't kill you on weight. Look at those horns. These things are gorgeous looking. I can't wait. You know what? 300. And this should give you a good show of they're nice and slow. It looks like we got into a lung anyway, but yeah, they're pretty slow, so you can just kind of pop another one into them and drop them there. So yeah, perfect display of why I love having the 300 on this map. I know it really is only good for these guys and Crocs, but it is really good for these guys and Crocs. So let's go ahead and get a look at our big old level 4 here. Oh my gosh! What? No way. Diamond? Oh my word. Well, that's pretty impressive. We're quite happy with that. Good lord, that is cool. Oh my goodness, look at this guy. Oh, look at the horns. Oh my gosh, gotta get a screenshot for that one. Well, there you go, guys. Another reason why this area is great. Here's our first diamond on the new map for me. So, all right. Well, I'll go ahead and claim our other one here, which is likely to be significantly less impressive, and then I'll catch up with you guys when we get to the saltwater crocodiles. Alright, so we are not too far from where we shot those Bantang, and I already have a croc here in the distance, and I will go ahead and show you why. Again, I know I kind of convinced you with that diamond Bantang, but why this is really, really great for these two species in particular. Of course, if you're not going to be focusing on these guys too much, you could probably definitely get away with something smaller. But this is my ideal weapon for these guys for sure. So that should, you can get nice follow-up shots. There's not too much recoil. I think the 338 is another really good option, but I definitely prefer the 300 personally. And you can see, this is what I'm talking about. These guys are really loud, and so they're pretty easy to find. Shot on that guy. I just kind of bust and brush around here, and this guy's already down. But by just kind of running around, they'll hiss at you, yell at you, especially at this time in the morning. I guess that's something else I forgot to mention, talking about... Oh, there's his mouth right there, talking about the Bantang and the gators. I like to come out here around 8 in the morning because that overlaps significantly with, you can see, the 7 to 10 Bantang feed time as well as a 4 to 7 Bantang feed time. And then the Crocs are resting starting at 8. So coming out at 8 gets us kind of on the back end of Bantang feed time and the beginning of saltwater crocodile rest time. So we know that they'll be out and about and not hiding down in the water away from us, giving us a much better opportunity to spot and get both species. I think we're going to leave that guy for now. Actually, we might be able to get away with some hunting pressure here. Pop that in as long as... I'll let you guys see how well a single shot does on these guys. Just in case, you know, if you're on console and have a tougher time getting your follow-up shots in. See what I'm saying? There's even more. There's another one over here yelling at me somewhere. You know, follow-up shots aren't as easy on a controller as they are on a mouse and key, so... Ooh. Yeah, this is a good time. These guys are really easy to find, even though, you know, these roots can get really, like, thick. Ooh, is that another one? That is another one. Again, these roots are really thick, but these guys will let you know where they are. So you really shouldn't have too many issues finding them, in my experience thus far. Let's go ahead and check out our level 6. What's this guy? They're level 6. He's fleeing, though, so we don't have to worry about him. And yeah, so that's just one shot, and we're looking at not great quick kill, but, I mean, he didn't even make it to deep water, so, and that's it. You know, a pretty good distance. You might be running into these guys even closer, if we're being completely honest. I've had a couple, you know, if they go aggressive, you can get them at just a couple meters and whatnot, so... Yeah, so far the crocs have been one of my favorite species to actually hunt on this map. I really wanted to get into kangaroos, but, man, their vitals are really hard to hit. They're so small. And just kind of being able to pound through the brush and find these guys has been really fun. Alright, luckily these mangroves do make nice little bridges across. We're able to get here and get R7, and as you can see, that first shot at an even further distance than the last one, 170 yards, was able to get a double lung and bring him down relatively quickly. So yeah, so that's it for Bantang and saltwater crocodiles. Let's go ahead and get into some of the other new species. Alright, now for my next spot I wanted to bring you is for some kangaroo, and luckily we had one out here. He was resting, but he's decided to then go feral. We also have some feral goats hanging around that are apparently terrified. But yeah, this outback area down here, Hogan's Field and the Saltbush Plains, are just chock full of kangaroos. Pretty much any direction that you head, as long as you are in this kind of dry bone plateau. There you go. The southwest of the map is going to have kangaroos. Their drink time is a little weird. Yeah, I do. So they drink really early in the morning / at night. So I would definitely recommend just kind of walking around the outback and keeping your glasses up. And you'll definitely be able to see quite a few of them just everywhere, especially during their rest time like we are now at about 9 in the morning. But yeah, I mean, as you can see for a really long distance here in the outback. And so just kind of getting up onto these small little elevated areas and glassing around with your binos should lead you to some kangaroos without much time put into it. Ooh, a big 8. We're going to see if we can get that guy. He's really far out there, so I think we can just kind of jog off in their direction. Alright, so we have finally caught up to him in his zone. I've been chasing him around quite a bit. He is at a terrible angle. He's not super far away, but far enough away that I think we'll need to do like one of these to get him to move. See if we can get him to get up more. And then we'll try and take a pot shot at him. If he'll stand all the way up, we should be able to get into a lung. And that will do it. So that, I actually did manage to get a lung for one of the first times ever. I really struggle with these guys. So let's go see what we managed to do. But yeah, as you can see, we've come quite a ways from here, so if he spawned at this one, probably would have had a much easier time. But yeah, I've just been kind of following him northwest to this zone here, but yeah. But the outback, it just stock full of these guys. They're everywhere. You really can't go in any direction down here without running into them. So let's see if we have a nice kangaroo here. Nice gold, 416, significantly away from diamond, but we were able to get into a lung, which is good. When they're standing frontal like that, it does seem a lot easier, but anything from the side, I mean, that's just a really tight window to try and get into, especially with their big legs coming in front of them. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that one. I'll probably tax it, since I doubt I'll have anything bigger for quite some time. And with that, we'll go ahead and get into some of the deer species here on the Emerald Coast. So as far as the deer species here on the Emerald Coast, there are 3 new ones added to Call the Wild, which are the hog deer, the Javan rusa, and the sambar. Now these can be found pretty much all over where you're seeing green wooded areas on this map. Not really so much down here. You can find red deer and fallow deer down here, but you can also find red deer, fallow deer, and axis deer pretty much anywhere on the map. However, if we look down here in sort of the Saltfinger Shore where we were looking for Bantang and crocs earlier, we've got fallow deer, sambar deer here, we've got hog deer and axis deer here, we've got feral pigs here, red deer and quail here. I had rusa somewhere. Maybe that was further up. Anyway, lots of deer down here, especially hog deer and sambar deer. Up here you can find hog deer, sambar deer again in this area. Red deer are all over the place. Sambar and hog deer seem to be much more prevalent kind of everywhere than the Javan Rusa, at least as far as I found. Maybe some of these rest zones were Rusa. Yes, okay, so Rusa are down kind of in this area. This is the only place I've managed to find them so far, but there are a lot of deer in kind of any area where you're seeing green and water. Got hog deer drink zones all over this lake. We've got sandbar all over, and even up here, which is, you know, the middle north, and then we were just in the southeast. You can see we have a sandbar drink zone here. We've got fallow deer. I had some more, I promise. I have so many. Sandbar here again. Feral pig there. We have 3 hog deer drink zones all the way up here in the north. So you can really find these guys anywhere. The one that I felt like was the most kind of location locked was definitely the Javan Rusa, which I only really have rest zones for kind of down here in the southeast. All right, so I am down here in the southeast. I had pinned a Rusa spot that I wanted to go check out, and I've just got a mating call kind of down in here somewhere. So we're going to just kind of crawl it in and see what we can find. It was a male Javan Rusa, but as you can see, I literally have just taken the path straight up from here, and we're already kind of into some of this stuff. And I'm not 100% sure when these guys drink. I haven't had a ton of time to go around and check every source everywhere on the map so far. This is supposed to be more of kind of just like an early guide where I'm showing you how I'm finding things, where I've found things, and what I've found best for finding the different species on this new map. Oh, he's right there. Oh. All right, we're going to go ahead and try and get a shot off at him if we can here. Nice. Level 4. I don't know how high they go. But yeah, as you can see, I haven't had a chance to explore a ton of the left side of the map yet. I'm sure that there's going to be some great hunting here. You're likely to have a lodge here, probably another lodge right here. But so far from what I found, I've been able to catch each of the new species in just these areas that I've explored already. And so I wanted to really give you guys a chance to see kind of what I was doing early game to help get set up for this new map. That's a nice looking gold. I love that two-tones variation. Very pretty. We did manage to get into both lungs, just barely gold. And with that being said, we can go ahead and get into looking for our sandbar and hog deer, which are the last 2 new big game species on this map. Alright, so I actually came to this lake to look for hog deer, got interrupted rudely by some fallow deer, and have actually managed to stumble across a sandbar deer and a hog deer hanging out together. So that should kind of round out for the species, especially the new deer. For Emerald Coast, we're going to try and bring this guy down. He's a level 4. He looks a little small. I'm still not fully sold on these guys' estimates yet. Just don't know them that well. And then I will try and find us a hog deer male to take down so you guys can see everything. So that's a gold. 282, so yeah, they go up to 300, but you'll get a lot of these max weight estimates. They go between, I think, like 275 and 300 kilograms, and they're not often too large, so we're still almost 30 away from diamond on this guy. So we'll go ahead and try and find a hog deer, and then that should be wrapping it up. All right, so I sort of came here on a whim, just looking for hog deer, because like I said, they're kind of all over, and we had a red deer drink zone here, and we have actually got a hog deer warning call. As you can see, I'd already set a marker kind of down by the river, because that's where I was going to check next, because we've had hog deer zones kind of all over the place. But hopefully we can bring this guy down, and that will be kind of showing you guys where, how, and when to find kind of every new big game species on Emerald Coast. But this will be why we have the 22-250 here, as well as they work for the goats and a couple of the other animals as well. But primarily the hog deer and the axis deer. Is that him? That is. Yep, just a level 3, like I said. All right, well, one's for him. Sounds like we got somebody next to us too. Yep, another hog deer, another level 3 hog deer. That guy looks like he's going down. Not super rapidly. Again, you'll probably get some good mileage out of probably the 243 will probably be your best bet for your class 3 animals, but new DLC gun. I want to try it out. I've really been enjoying it. It hasn't let me down yet. I've missed some shots. That's my own fault. But the gun itself has not been too bad. We do get a medium bleed rate off these guys if you hit them in the lungs just right. Haven't had any issues if I make the correct shot with bringing down Hog Deer, so definitely recommend it. It's a new weapon. You might as well give it a try. It's only 7,000 in the shop, or you can get it with the missions. And that is a little silver guy. Not even close. 20 away from gold. 40 something away from diamond. But yeah, that is all the new species. At least the big game species. But yeah, that's pretty much all the new big game species. Again, for deer, Javan Rusa I've only found down here. Sambar and Hog Deer I've found everywhere in here. The Bantang and Crocs are big in here, but I know you can find Bantang up in the north as well. The Crocs, pretty much anywhere along the coast is going to be great. The mangrove area is great, and I've seen some really good results along here in other videos. But yeah, let me know what species you guys are most excited to try out on the new map. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all a good day, and happy hunting.